All right, it's the Kings. It's the Clippers from LA. A busy day in the NBA today. We can go over all that. We can also talk about why the Kings are hands down the luckiest team in the NBA, especially after the All-Star break. I talked about it yesterday. We'll talk about it again on the other side. It's the Kings. It's the Clippers coming to you live. We've got the pregame show for you right here on If You Don't Like That.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sacramento miscue. Carter, stolen by Williams. And look at this. Oh, you don't like that. You don't like NBA basketball. Fox, goodbye. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. The exclamation point from De'Aaron Fox. Oh, if you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball.
Boy, that's an ESPN highlight right there. Whoa. Carlson comes in. How about this? Holy moly, Jim Bob Bowley. That is a major league smush.
It's the Kings. It's the Clips from LA. I'm Ryan in Sactown. Thanks for joining me for the pregame show. Tail of the tape, Kings Clips. Kings, the record, 7th in the West, 32 and 22. The Clippers, they're a damn good basketball team. And quite frankly, everything or most things the Kings do not do well, the Clippers do very well. So maybe the Kings have a different answer for them tonight. We'll see. But I said at the top, the Kings are the luckiest team in the NBA after the All-Star break. Paul George, he is not playing tonight. Norman Powell will step into his spot. So how's that? Really, Paul George, he is a no-go. And then you parlay that with the New Orleans and Miami Heat fight that happened a couple nights ago. And now Jimmy Butler suspended for the next game. Guess what? It's in Sacramento tomorrow night. So, and then you've got a ton of other guys. Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, questionable. And then you've got some other Heat that are suspended as well. Thomas Bryant, most notably. Remember him from the Lakers, always giving the Kings issues. But it's the Kings. It's the Clips. Tonight, want to get to your guys' comments. Happy to have you here. You can also call the show as well if you would like. We've got full coverage all night. Jerry Reynolds will be right here at halftime. That's really exciting. And then Grant is back. He will be here at halftime, and we will wrap the night up. Before we get to the comments, I do want to just I talked about it on the Kings court today. The Clippers this season, they're shooting over 53% from the field against the Kings in their two meetings. Obviously, those have been victories for the Clippers. And beyond that, they're shooting like 43.9% from beyond the arc against the Kings. Remember what the Spurs did to the Kings the other night. They shot 44% from beyond the arc, and they're the worst shooting team in the league. So the Clippers, second best three-point shooting team in the league at 39.7. Or is it 39? No, that's the Kings percentage at defending. Clips are the second best three-pointing team in the league. So we know that's going to be part of the big matchup tonight. Adam, what's up, man? Gosh, it feels like forever since the last game. Kings have had a lot of rest lately, and probably a good thing. Let's chalk one in the W column. Yeah, this is one the Kings got to have, Adam. They've got to have it. You think Sabonis, he's going to keep rolling, hopefully. And that's an advantage the Kings have not really looked to in matchups against the Clippers in the past. You think about the big game last year with the Kings and the Clippers that went to double overtime. Sabonis, I think, only had, I want to say, 20 points. He didn't take that many shots in that game. And I believe he fouled out too. Remember that. That's why Monk was on the floor. But yeah, so can Sabonis keep it rolling? The Clippers' length on the perimeter, that's a huge problem. Look, the Kings struggle defending the three-point line. We know that. But the Kings also struggle with on-ball defense. So with the Clippers, which way do you want it? Because they can do it both ways. My preference with the Clippers, although they are second in the NBA, I would try to make them beat you from beyond the arc. Keep them out of the key. Try to, capitalize on long rebounds if they're missing. I'm saying throw in some zone defense tonight. Why not? If you're Mike Brown, I would. I know it's not really the best thing to do always in the NBA. I would throw some zone at him. Let's see. After an 8-day break, yeah. Well, this is true. You guys are debating. It's the show within the show. I get it. Whether or not it's still a break because we went so long without basketball. Thought Mark Jones was y'all's play-by-play man. Why is he doing the Warriors game? Kings TV broadcasting is a joke these days. G-Man still rules. Fair. G-Man rules. No doubt about that. Mark's commitments. He's got a dual contract. He's got the national contract with ESPN and the Kings. So I don't know how they work that out. Could the Kings broadcast team be much better? Absolutely. But here's what I'm going to say. You're coming off of how many years of Grant and Jerry? How many years? I don't care if the Pope replaced Grant Napier. You would not take to him immediately, or whoever replaced Grant ultimately. So that's going to take some time. Now, I do have gripes with what they do. 100%. Mark Jones, not a fan. Kyle Draper, Katie Christensen, I think they try their best. I do. So it is what it is, it's a transition time. What's up, Jay? We need to go at least 2-2 in the next 4 games. No Butler for Miami tomorrow. We were just talking about it. No Butler. Rozier, questionable. You got Hero, questionable. Orlando Robinson, questionable. And then Thomas Bryant, suspended. Jimmy Butler, suspended. Look, again, do you guys remember the All-Star break last year when the Kings are coming out of the All-Star break? That's when the Kings hit their stride. That is what got them the 3 seed. So a bunch of things lined up for them, and it's doing that again starting tonight with no Paul George. So can the Kings take advantage of it? I sure as hell hope so. The Kings may not be a championship contender, but dang, I love how hard they tried, just missing a couple of pieces to the puzzle. Kings seem to play better against good teams. Spot on about the latter half. In terms of them playing hard, some of them play super hard every night. Actually, I don't want to say there's any Kings that aren't playing hard. So I won't disagree with that. I think there's at times, you can't argue this, there's Kings that seem disinterested, a little bit more disinterested than they did last year. Take it for what it is worth. Jay hopping back in on the conversation. Glad other fan bases had to put up with Jones. Yeah. National has to put up with him. He's an acquired taste. So, yeah, indeed. You can't have it. It happens almost every Kings game, it feels like, and it goes back to the 3-point shooting and defending the 3-point line. I said it on the Kings court. I don't think the Kings, it's not an effort thing defensively. They're just out of place too much. So is that a question about preparation? Is it a question versus players? Are they right for the scheme? I don't know. But here's what I do know. These guys have been playing basketball their entire life. It's the whole pro pitcher thing. Well, they don't bat. Well, they played baseball all their life. You don't think they can still somewhat swing a bat? And it's the same thing for these guys. They should be able to play a little bit better defense. So that is what happens when they don't play good defense on the perimeter. Those are the guys that get the open shots and knock them down. My pleasure, Scuba. We need to prove we hang with the Clippers, Pelicans. So really quick, Scuba, I'm glad you brought up the Pelicans. I meant to bring this up too. That fight affects the Pelicans as well. And the Pelicans are ahead of the Kings in the standings. So that benefits the Kings both ways. Goes to their luck again. But let's see. because there's a great chance we face them if we get out of the play-in. Yes, indeed. No, we don't, Dave. We do not match up well with the Clippers. Now, and here's the other thing. If you get into, and I would look at this, so the Kings in their 2 meetings with the Clippers this season have turned the ball over 14 times a game. Their assists are just under, I want to say it's around 24, 25 per game. When the Kings are playing winning basketball, they are at least 2-1 on the assist to turnover ratio. Usually they're 3-1 when they are winning the game. So the fact that that is a little bit off speaks to the style of basketball the Clippers like to play. They like to slow it down. But the thing is, they can also run with you too. And that's where you got to be careful in the mid-range for the Clippers. They just kill the Kings there. And so when you look at a player tonight or a spotlight defensively, it's actually 2. It's Harrison Barnes and it's Keegan Murray. What are those 2 guys going to be able to do? It's the switches. How are the Kings going to communicate on those? All things that the Kings have struggled with at times during this season and have struggled with against the Clippers. No doubt about that. So the Kings got to turn that around. John, they're not a super team. No. But they do need to play fast. I agree. And that starts with De'Aaron Fox, right? So, and then with the second unit, you look at Davion Mitchell. When he started to get minutes again and got back in Mike Brown's rotation, he was pushing the ball really well. And that's kind of stopped. I know, too, him and Monk in the last couple games, they've gotten stuck in the air. They did it in Denver before the break, and they definitely did it last game with the ball. Like, they jump to pass, and then they get cut off, whatever it may be, and then sometimes the ball gets there, but then there's a lot of nights for the Kings where the ball doesn't get there. So for the second unit, Davion is going to be one of the huge keys to them playing fast. Surprised at how well the Kings have played against the Nuggets this year. Yeah, they play. Somebody just said it a little bit ago. They play well against good teams. Walt, what's up? Should be a tough one, but a great one if we can win. Yeah, think about it again. I mean, I would take a double overtime game tonight just for the pure entertainment value. But that was kind of the turning point for this Kings team last year, or at least for their swagger, right? Like, that's when we knew, or at least I knew, that team was going to be in the playoffs, and that team might make a little bit of noise, which they ended up going 7 games with the Warriors, with the defending champs. But the Kings need to string together another couple of wins just like that, or a big win like that in a fashion that's similar to that can really, it can go on their resume for this season. It can be one of the few that you look back on in a positive light. And quite frankly, the last 2 games, I look at those in a positive light because both games, the Kings had to find a way to do it when the 3 ball wasn't falling. So respect. They can put that notch on their belt because they're going to need it come playoff time. Baki, what's up, man? Second loss in a row for the Pels. Dallas lost. Cool stuff around the league. Yes, we will get to some updates around the league. Scuba hopping back in. What moves do we make in the offseason? We aren't a contender. I still love them. Do you think Murray is a big part? Yes. Should Barnes be a starter? On this team? Yes. Or do we need to fill those spots? Murray, he's going to be in the DNA of this team going forward in the future. Barnes, I don't know. It's tough to say with him, but Murray will be a part of the big 3, in my opinion. And that's why the Kings didn't make a ton of moves at the break. Grant, he is going to be back at halftime. I know. I missed the guy too. It's been a while since we've had him. So it'll be nice to have him back. He will be nice and refreshed, I'm sure, coming off the All-Star break. Grant deserves an All-Star break too. Don't you guys think? And by the way, please do us a favor and subscribe if you have not already, if you don't like that. This is Grant's YouTube channel. You recently got him over 7,000 subscribers. So we really appreciate that. So subscribe if you haven't already, and then do me a favor as well. You can scan the code right here. Go check out my work. That's the King's Court with Ryan in Sactown. Today's was a little bit longer. It was 16 minutes, but I usually get you out in about 10 minutes. That is your daily Insider Kings podcast, completely free and short form. Appreciate it if you go check that out and give it a listen. I promise you'll like it. Go a few episodes back. You'll see that a lot of stuff we're talking about has come into play. So do that for me. I would really appreciate it. Let's get back to the comments. Kings and the Clippers tonight. The Kings, really, a game, not a must win, but a game they have to have. Well, good day, mate. From Western Australia. I'll stop my thought for that. Thank you. Appreciate you checking in. That's awesome. It's just the WWE was in Australia. My friend works for the WWE. So I don't know why WWE came to mind when you said Australia, but thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Edward hopping in. They need to run and attack the paint. Of course. Yes, the calls favor the Clippers. Because the calls favor the Clippers because the Kings don't really try to get into that mid-range. And here's the thing. The Kings, they are the fourth best team in the NBA in 2-point percentage. Fourth best. But they're 27th in 2-point attempts. So the Kings absolutely need to get into the paint tonight. And yeah, they're going to need it. No doubt. You guys are killing it on the comments. I really appreciate it. Edward coming back in. I have not heard any negative updates on Domas. So he should be, I mean, triple-double when you're sick. So I'm guessing he's good to go. Nothing to the contrary. Western Australia is the Sacramento. Oh, okay. Okay, Scuba. No Sacramento on Australia crime. We got to watch that here. We got to be careful. We can't have any Jim Rome and if you don't like that crossovers. But hey, one crossover that we absolutely love is our sponsorship with Bennett's Westside Grill in Rockland. That is their third location. It's located in the Blue Oaks Town Center. Hey, if you missed out today, don't worry. Next weekend, it's not too late. $44, brunch for two. Get you 2 entrees, a bottle of champagne, some juice to make your mimosas, and just a wonderful experience. And today, beautiful weather in Sacramento. Go to the Bennett's Patios. Can't beat it. So go to BennettRestaurants.com for more information. Find out about their other locations, their specials, happy hour. They've got specials throughout the week. I'm telling you, you are missing out if you have not checked out Bennett's Westside Grill in Rockland, located in the Blue Oaks Town Center. And Australia getting some love with the Bennett's live read there. I left the comment up, but anyways, it is the Kings. It is the Clippers coming up here in just a little bit. It is a national TV game on ESPN. The Nuggets and the Warriors playing right now. Denver with a 9-point lead, 105-96. 5 minutes, 20 seconds left in that one. I'm looking on our Twitter list group, and a lot of Kings fans have made the trip down to Southern California for this one. So I love to see it. Hopefully there will be some beam chants in, what do they call it these days? It's like the crypto arena, crypto something. Excel, welcome in. A Kings win puts us in 5th. Good contribution right there. Frog, Ryan, I think the Kings with fresh legs have a good chance of winning tonight. I think you're right. I think you're right, Frog. I hope so. I mean, you look at the Kings bench, it's fresh. Outside of Malik Monk and Trey Lyles, their legs are fresh right now. And that's where the Kings have to, the bench has let them down in too many games in the last, I would say, 10 games. So You got to have the bench show up tonight and be competitive, because when the Clippers second unit comes on the floor, there's not a huge drop off in productivity. And with the Kings, sometimes that's the case too. And sometimes it is exactly the opposite, where there is very little productivity. Yeah, I think they were in Perth. That is right. Yeah, I think she had a big night. Yeah, she did indeed. Yep. Frog jumping in, or telling Frog sounds like a salty East Coaster, forgetting that WA has held the country up for decades with our mining money. Uh-oh. See, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Kings should switch it up a bit and go down low and then find the shooters. I feel like the Kings are kind of predictable. 100% predictable. 100%. And that's the problem. So they're either predictable or they're not. There's two worlds the Kings live in. They either go 4 around the perimeter and it's predictable, or they play inside out, as you proposed. When they play inside out, those are the nights that the Kings have 30 assists. That's how the Kings typically get to a W and light the beam. So no doubt, you should be worried if the Kings are not trying to play inside out. Let's see. Should Mike Brown do the coaching strategy like Ty Lue or Steve Kerr, where teams score in front of their bench in the second half? I've never good question, by the way. It's preference. I think some of it too. Basketball players and basketball coaches, and they're creatures of habit. Let's just put it that way, okay? So there's superstitions in play sometimes. Like, you would be surprised. There's guys that will come change their shoes at halftime. There's guys that will change their uniform at halftime. I was lucky enough to be around Mike Bibby during my college years. I used to work out with him, and then I worked his basketball camps as well. He was a guy that was weird about that. Hated a wetback. Mike hated a wetback. So in terms of like stuff like that, like coaching decisions, do you have your goal on your bench side the second half? I don't know. Here's the thing. Mike Brown, he lets them play. The Kings aren't a team that run a ton of set plays. I don't think we can disagree on that. So I guess there's not, to me, a huge advantage, but who knows? The Clippers haven't been playing that well after the break. Hey, Edward, I got you, bro. They struggled against the Grizz just like we did. But it's the Clippers. They've been pretty damn consistent the entire year. Everybody who made it down to, let's see, we need to hear the chant like the beam. Good job, John. Yes, it would be cool to hear that. I mean, I'm sure that that's a pretty cool feeling when you go in somebody else's building. Len versus McGee. Who do you put in first? Scuba. This is a huge Alex Len house. Huge Alex Len house. If it was my call, JaVale McGee, he is like a Vince Carter. He's there to do stuff in practice, simulate, be a veteran to the young guys, help out some of the younger guys that are playing down low. But no, Alex Len, all day. All day. Alex Len he's first off, the Kings don't have to dramatically change what they do on offense when Alex Len comes in. With JaVale McGee, you do. And especially when other teams play zone against the Kings. The second thing, Alex Len, he has, in the last, I would say, year, it was just about this time last year that Alex turned it on and started to get some minutes. And you remember Alex then, he was a little bit of a factor off the bench in the playoff series last season. But that's when at least I realized Alex could legitimately run with this team. It wasn't awkward, right? And JaVale, he's good on the pick and roll. He's good at going higher than you, but other than that, I don't see it. You guys let me know what you know or what you think. King, what up? Happy to have you here. Albert, thanks for the backing. I appreciate it. If you're just tuning in, this is the Kings pregame show on If You Don't Like That. I'm Ryan in Sactown. Jerry Reynolds will be right here at halftime with us. That'll be a lot of fun. And Grant is back tonight. So Grant will be here at half, and then Grant and I will wrap things up. We'll do open phones tonight. That'll be a lot of fun. So get your calls ready. Look, the Kings, for nothing else but for confidence, the Kings have to have a competitive showing tonight. I'm not going to say they have to win, but it needs to be competitive. The first 2 times these teams played, the Clippers had won the game in the first half. That can't happen tonight. The Kings have to take it to the Clippers. Sabonis, 38 minutes. Yeah, he's been playing a lot as of late. What do you think? Alex, you know what? It's funny you bring that up, Edward. I am not opposed to trying that. Now, if you were going to do it, I wouldn't want to do it with a line. I'd want Lyles and Sabonis. I think those are the 2 that I want on the court at the same time. If you had to pick between Len and McGee, I would go Len. I would definitely go Len playing with Sabonis because it would be, they'd be a nightmare on the boards. Look, and here's the one thing that we don't really acknowledge enough. I'm not trying to, and I'm critical when people bail this team out or make, to me, dumb excuses that insult the intelligence of the fan base. I don't like that, but I think one thing that we do have to acknowledge about this team is, they're not exactly built. They weren't built to play this style of basketball. They weren't. They were not. You remember when Mike Brown came to Sacramento? Defense. And you guys remember the preseason? It's like, holy shit. The Kings are filling it up, right? And then everybody starts like wondering, well, maybe the guy from Summer League that's like, Kings 40 wins. Brian, what's up, man? Okay, I'm going to break my rant. Brian Cardicelli, met him last week at the Palladios. Really nice talk with him. Thank you for coming in, man. Appreciate it. I got your screen name now. We'll stay in touch. So good to have you here. So anyways, getting back to what I was saying is the Kings were not built to play this style of basketball. It was all defense. Now it's an offensive team. So it's one of those things that, is there going to be some friction? Yeah, they're doing their best. They're doing what they can do. Let's see. What's the deal with Sasha? Sasha is dealing with an ankle injury. So that is the deal with him. No, it's not just sore. I'll give you this. It was a little odd that he came back. It was like for a game. It was like a game or 2. And then he's out for 2 weeks. So ankles are touchy. Ankles are fidgety. So it is what it is. I mean, sure, do you want to have that extra option off the bench? Like if the Kings are shooting really bad on a night, like tonight in LA maybe? Because here's the thing, guys, the Kings, 29.5%. I wanted to save this one for the end of the show. Somebody earlier tonight said the Kings have to play inside out. They want to see the Kings play inside out, right? Well, the reality is the Kings have to play inside out. I told you earlier, they are 4th in the NBA in 2-point percentage, yet they are 27th in the NBA in 2-point attempts. Okay. Well, in 2 games against the Clippers this season, the Kings are shooting 29.5%. 29.5% from beyond the arc. So if the Kings don't play inside out based off the first 2 meetings, it's going to be a long night. So on a night like that, if it was to turn out that way, you want to have Sasha. But outside of that, I mean, Mike wasn't really playing him a ton. So it is what it is. We will stay tuned to see what happens. And Brian, you're going to take us out of here because just like you, we are all off to go watch the Kings and the Clippers from LA. We'll wrap up the night in the NBA on the post-game show. We're going to take your calls, so make sure you're back for that. We would love to have you on the post-game show. But before that, halftime, Grant and Jerry, can't wait for that. Go Kings, as Mark says. Appreciate it, John. So Mark says, let's go Kings. Scuba, you're welcome. Go Kings. Light the beam. Come back at halftime. Ryan and Sactown.